most of the time, we have our goal here. You start here. Now, what it takes to get to this point, and this point, from here to here, or from here to here, is different. Sometimes, what it takes for us to get to this point here is extremely different than what it takes to go to the next level. So starting your company is not the same, right? When we start a company, what do? We hire our friends, we hire our family, and then you end up firing them and you get people who are really good when you make enough money, right? So, you try to supplement it, you try to wing it. But what works from the moment where you start hiring decent people? Then you start learning standards, SOPs, expectations, how to delegate things properly, how to truly interview people, how to really build a team, how to lead a team, how to have vision. And then you go to this point and you're like, okay, now I have a really good team, but something's not working anymore. Something changed. This was working for us, making us $1 million a month, and now it's not working anymore. I have to adapt. Now you get resourceful, you change your strategy, you start becoming really creative. You come up with a new idea, and then eventually hit your goal. But the thing here, first of all, the goal is always changing. Second of all, what's going to change this? So there's two things that change this. One, you have a positive state, feeling good. Two, you have a negative state. If you're feeling a positive state, you are going towards your goals. If you're feeling a negative state, you are going away from your goals. Now, when you look at state, your feelings, here's what I want you to understand. Emotions are feedback towards direction. I call this an emotional compass. If the compass is pointed up, I'm going towards my goal. If it's pointed south, I'm going away from it. Most people are pointed south. If you're feeling bad, it means you're pointed south. Now, what is the compass hinting at? It's hinting at something called focus. Focus, right now everyone's looking at me, but unconsciously you have an image in your head. There's something else that you're thinking about unconsciously. Now, you could be thinking about it on a 1-month timeline, a 6-month timeline, and a 10-year timeline, but you're thinking about it. For instance, when we first get into a relationship, you meet someone and you're thinking about what? What's the first goal? Get them to like me. So now they like you, and now you're dating, and now the strategy changes. Get them to stay. Get them to stop annoying me. Break up. Right? It changes because the focus changed. Now, two people at the beginning always seem to get along. Why do they get along at the beginning? Because their strategy once they're in a relationship hasn't been exposed. Their strategy to get into a relationship aligns. So to get into the relationship, what do they say? I love you, oh, here's flowers, come on the date, they're happy, they buy each other chocolates, they're all like honeymoon. Honeymoon doesn't end. It ends because the strategy that the person had once they got you or married you or whatever changed. Same thing happens in business. You don't just start losing, something changed. The strategy changed. You made a lot of money, and then you lost it all because when you made a lot of money, strategy changed. And what really changed, if you want to highlight it, your focus changed. At the beginning of the relationship, you focus on how much you like them, how much you're excited to see them, how cool it's going to be when you're with them. Then you focus on, they're going to cheat on me, all my insecurities come out, blah, 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 and it ends. Same thing in business. You make all this money, you're excited to make the money, you made something, even a little bit, your focus shifts, go into scarcity, you lose it all. Now this goal, we'd all think is like highlighting us making $1 million a month, right? It could also highlight you being homeless. It's whatever is programmed in your brain. If your brain says, I'm going to be a loser, then that's the goal. And then your strategy might change. Why does the stock market look like this? Why? Because focus is shifting. What is a recession? When you look at the goal, an economy in a recession, our focus shifts to the negative. Because what's happened is you all of a sudden notice your buying power is going down, and it takes a very small straw to break the camel's back. Okay? Jai, you can get off this now. Right? It takes a very small straw to break the camel's back. You just have to go to the grocery store for 2 or 3 months and not be able to afford it anymore and start saving for you to go into a downward spiral. You just have to have one extra parking ticket, one extra bill, or one lawsuit on your desk if you're more successful. That puts you into a downward spiral. And when that straw breaks the camel's back, you go into a negative pattern of focus. So you now have a negative strategy and you start losing. That's what happens in a recession. It's a mass brainwashing of making people go into a negative state and focus on a negative outcome, which fucks everyone. So my goal is to make sure that you don't get influenced by this. Earlier, someone asked me a question and said, how do you stay consistent? I'm going to show you how to have complete control over your mind so all the noise around you doesn't fuck with you. Because there will be noise. That's part of life. There's shit that happens. I'm glad you're enjoying this video. Now, if you want to book a call with me and you're making 6 figures or more this week and only this week, I'm going to be taking calls myself. Now, there's no guarantee that I'll hop on the phone with you, but first come, first serve. So before my calendar fills up, make sure you click the link below in the description right now, fill out the application, and book a call with me. I'll see you on the other side. Enjoy the video. But what you focus on is going to change the way you see the world. So you have problems, right? You get stressed out, you have a problem. You're not going to find the solution to the problem in the same state you're in when you got the problem. Someone breaks up with me and I'm feeling heartbroken. I'm not going to find a solution while I'm heartbroken, at least not a good one. I'm stressed out. I'm not going to find a solution when I'm stressed out. You have to manage your emotions. Because if you manage them, you're able to tap into resources, emotions, that allow you to go to where you want to go. So we talk about strategies. I want you guys to understand. Strategy from here to here to here, right? It'll change. Every day might be a different circle in between you and your goal. But am I going towards it or away from it? And this is what I want to now highlight because we're going to do a quick exercise. Your starting point is today, where you're at. What's the next step? What is my next step? Most people think about their next step and they stop. So I know what my next step is. I also know what my next step after that is. And I also know what the next step after that is. I'm about 5 to 10 moves ahead. Now, when we say 5 to 10 moves ahead, what does it look like? Let me break it down for you. You start a company. Okay, that's step 1. I'm going to start my company, LLC, all that good stuff, know exactly what I'm offering, build the website, whatever. Okay? Step 1 should be done within a day or 2, max. Then step 2, what's step 2? Step 2 is who's going to buy this? Why would they buy this? Who do I know that I could reach out to that would buy this? How am I going to start marketing for this? Is it going to be for my network, for my friend's network? Am I going to have to do outreach on LinkedIn? Am I going to have to run ads? What am I going to do? How am I going to get clients for this thing? That's step 2. Then, in step 2, between step 2 and step 3, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to close them. I'm going to get good at selling, good at sales, good at persuasion, good at all this shit. And then, you got to close. Finally, first close, my goal. I hit my goal. I made my first dollar in this company. Now I start over. Now we're making money. How do I make more of it? How do I do more of what I just did? How do I make it more profitable? How do I scale it up? How do I make it consistent? Right? That's the process you should be in. So you should be like, here's my starting point. This is where I'm at today. We're already making money. How do I double it? How do I triple it? How do I 5x it in the next 6 months? That's how you need to be thinking. And you have to have an impatient mindset. Patience is why you're going to be left behind. Opportunities don't wait for anyone. So being patient, it reminds me of when I was younger. When I was 15, I had no confidence. And I'm going to make this analogy as a metaphor to business, or analogy for business. I'm sitting down, I'm 15 years old, I'm at the mall with my friends, and next to me was this girl that I've had a crush on since 6th grade. I didn't talk to her, I never had the courage to talk to her, and I'm looking at her, and I start going into this fantasy. Oh, what if I talk to her? And what if she says yes? And what if we go on a date? And what if we go to the movies? And by the time I finished this stupid, fucking fantasy, she was gone. And I haven't seen her since. It's been 10 years. I don't even remember what her name is anymore. I remember her name. I just don't remember her last name. I don't remember even how to find her if I'm not blocked, right? So, I'm being honest. It's weird, it's 15. So, you look at business, you have opportunities like recessions. You have opportunities like right now, there's a lot of time. Like, for example, 2020. My buddy was selling masks outside the back of his car, said, fuck this, I'm going to scale this. Went through this exact process. He was actually in my mastermind called Breakthrough, where I taught this. I taught this exact lesson to him. He took it, and he ran with it. Started emailing all these hospitals, thousands of emails, got these email lists of all these hospitals, started emailing them, saying, hey, look, I got masks, I got supplies, I got all this. Ended up selling since then to now. He sold over $50 million since then. His company's worth like, I think now if he was to sell his company's worth like 20 million. He's got some buyers for it. We might go into another lockdown type thing. So he's not sure if he wants to sell it yet because he might make a lot more money. But the whole point is, it's not hard when you break things down. To make it consistent, you have to be consistent in your emotions. So I want to talk about routine. Because routine is what makes your life consistent. What I do today doesn't equal my life. What I do every day is what equals my results. So your routine should look like this. You asked me about sleep. I believe you should sleep 8 hours a day. I believe you should work 8 hours a day. Now, my work is defined as going to the gym, eating healthy, sitting down, talking to my team, my staff, going on Instagram, posting things, actually dealing and fulfilling with clients, 8 hours a day at the minimum, and then 8 hours of fun. Because if you're not going to enjoy your life, what the fuck's the point of living it, right? So 8 hours of fun. Now, I could dive into that fun time if I want, because I really do have fun working, and I can work more. I can go from 8 hours of work to 12 hours to 16 hours if I really wanted to. What's not compromisable is my bedtime is at midnight, and minimum, like the max I'll wake up is 8. That's the max. That's non-negotiable. I will sleep anywhere from 7 to 8 hours a night, no matter what. My bedtime's at 12. I could have been on a date with the girl I'm in love with, and at 11:59, she's like, okay, Marcel, I'm ready for you. I'm like, I'm going to bed. Like, I don't care. At midnight, you have, like I say, maybe, honestly, this has helped me. I'm like, hey, look, we got 10 minutes. And 10 minutes from now, I'm going to sleep. So, we can keep playing this game, but we're going to have to wait till next time. What? Yeah, I'm going to sleep. All right, you know what? Good night. What? But that's just my discipline. Because I know that I go from 12 to 12:30 today, and tomorrow I'll go from 12:30 to 2. All of a sudden I'm from 2 to 5. And now I have no routine anymore. I'm not waking up at 1, I'm not productive, and I'm fucking my future. So I view it as, if you can maintain a routine, no matter what, you're going to win. So when you look at your routine, I say 8 hours of fun, 8 hours of work, 8 hours of sleep. Now, some of you don't need 8 hours of sleep. Great. Then you can have more fun, you can have more work, you can have more whatever you want, but do it every day. So work isn't just sitting down writing things all the time and typing. It's thinking. It's problem solving. Out of the 8 hours I work, 7 hours are problem solving. Problem solving. What's a problem? Hey, we're not making this, we're not hitting our goals. Okay, we're not hitting our goals, then what do I have to do? I got to find a solution. Problem solving. I can't afford this. So stop, problem solve. Find a way. I can't hire someone. Yes, you fucking can. Be creative. Be resourceful. There's always a way. That's the one thing I figured out. No matter what, even in the moment where it feels like there's no way out, there's always a way. Not only is there a way, there's a way that is so much better than what you've been doing up until now, it's crazy. And the abundance that will come from it, unbelievable. So we're going to build a routine. We're going to start with our bedtime. We're going to start with the time we wake up. And you're going to a T, write down what you do. Now, most people in the routine are like, okay, I'm going to wake up, 30 minutes to myself in the morning. Who takes the phone with them to the bathroom? Great, you waste an extra 30 minutes every day. Let's just say you waste 5 minutes a day. Let's do the math, okay? 5 minutes a day. So I'm wasting, here we go, 5 minutes times 365. That's 1,825 minutes a year, divided by 60. That's 30 hours a year I waste just by having my phone. 30 hours. Now you say that's not wrong. That's not that much. But let's do 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. It adds up. Now imagine you have a company and you're okay with your employees being 5 minutes late. 30 hours per year per employee at the minimum, let's just say, because they're 5 minutes late. Now you have 10 employees. 300 hours. 200 employees. You understand how this compounds? So the standard, if you're doing it, you can expect everyone else to do it. But if you're not doing it, how can you expect everyone else to do it? So I always say a routine is what keeps you on track. Imagine being on track, like you're on a train, you're going down this track, you're getting to your destination. The routine is the train track. If you get off the routine, you're off the track. And that's why sometimes you're going to feel like shit. When you're in a routine, it's supposed to make you feel good. I woke up, I didn't feel good. What did I do? I got up, I went on my walk. I walk 10,000 steps every day no matter what. Then I go to the gym. that put me in a positive state. I moved my body. I got active. I started thinking differently. Because again, every time I walk by these massive houses, every time I see them, my brain starts going, how do I get a house like this? How do I buy that? How do I do this? What should I do? How should I change? Where's this going? I see different cars on the street now. I see people who had really nice cars. They no longer have nice cars. What's changing? My brain's thinking. And now I'm thinking, my focus is shifting. But if you sit down in your sorrow and you're like stressed out and you're like, oh, I'm just going to play video games or some bullshit, or you're like, let me just not think about it, go on my phone on TikTok for like an hour, it's not going to help you. And by the way, these companies are so smart. You go on your phone, you're going to stay on there for hours. That's their job. Give you everything you want. Oh, it knows I like Porsche GT3s. It knows what kind of girls I'm attracted to. It knows that I have a monkey and I fucking love alpacas. It knows it. This came from Instagram, And, I'm like Halloween. I like Halloween the most too. So it combined Halloween and alpacas for me. It's my favorite holiday. So again, these things are all distractions. The only thing I do when I'm on my phone is like money. I'll wake up in the morning, I will post on 3 platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And then I don't look at my phone. I do not care because my phone is just constantly being spammed. Like my DMs, I probably get maybe 1,000, 1,500 DMs a day. Now you look at my Instagram, you're like, there's no way. It's because you don't know my Instagram. People look at I honestly believe everyone has fake followers. I look at these people who have 1 million followers and they get 15 DMs a day, 20 DMs, 30 DMs a day. I'm like, either your followers are fake or your audience is trash. Either one. I don't want that following, right? I look at that and I'm like, how many people came from Instagram or met me on Instagram or found me on Instagram? These 3 cars are worth over $1 million. But something that is more invaluable than that is your mindset. I have a special discount going on right now on a program called Invisible Influence. If you want to learn how to master your mindset for the least amount of money, I'm throwing in a bonus in there right now called Limitless Wealth. All you got to do is click the link in the description where it says Invisible Influence and get it for $49. I'll see you there. You have to think to yourself, what is going to be the highest leverage thing? I'm looking at the fact that I know my biggest expense is what? Marketing. My biggest expense by far. By far, Facebook ads, that's my largest expense in my company has always been marketing. And that was always the issue. Now, I got marketing down. I can cut all costs on marketing minus building video production, all that, and still have more leads than I know what to do with. However, that is not always consistent. It's not always consistent. I'm not gonna go viral every other day. Maybe I will, but lately I've been going viral nonstop, but that's not gonna be consistent every day. So I have to build a system that's also consistent. Now, that's like a cherry on top that could be bigger than everything else, like an organic audience, but I found a way to run ads, run traffic, pay traffic. That is consistent. I know for every dollar I spend, I'm gonna get this out of it, right? And I'm gonna have a very targeted audience. You have to find, when you look at your business and you look at your routine, you have to say, what can I do that will make things consistent? The problems you'll have are inconsistencies in your business. Anytime something's inconsistent, that's your problem. I don't have consistent employees, consistent work ethic, consistent sales, consistent lead flow, consistent deals. That is your problem. So if you want that to change, it has to start with you being consistent. Consistency begins with you. Once it starts with you, and you get into the habit of being consistent, you can find all the problems in the company or the business that you're in that will then make you consistent. Now, everyone here might be like, well, I work a job, I don't really care. You do care because you don't want to stay in your job. You're going to ask me, how do I become a millionaire while working a job? It's not going to happen. It's rare. It's really rare. You're not going to have the wealth you're looking for unless you're like Steve Wozniak and you're employee number 1 in Apple. And he got lucky. Everyone's like, oh, Steve Wozniak. Guys, no offense to Steve Wozniak, but Steve Wozniak's not a fucking entrepreneur. And if you look at the movie with Steve Jobs, he's upset about Steve Jobs. This motherfucker should suck his dick. You should kiss his feet. He made you a billionaire. Steve Wozniak would have never made a dime without him. No offense, the guy's a weirdo. He's smart as fuck, but he doesn't have the ability he has the knowledge, doesn't have the mindset to apply it. He's just so lucky that he saw his talent and someone like Steve Jobs was able to take him and make him a billionaire. So again, it's not just about being an employee. I'm telling you, you don't want to be an employee. You want to be an employer, but there are also things that happen as an employer that make your life worse. Your life isn't always going to be better as an employer. It's actually going to be worse. When you win a football game, who gets the credit? Quarterback. Who also gets the credit when you lose? Quarterback. Yeah, the coach, sure, but quarterback. Everyone looks at the quarterback. When the Lakers lose, who do we blame? LeBron. When they win, who do we blame? LeBron. You're going to be the MVP, but you're also going to be the loser when you lose. So don't lose. You know, a lot of the things that we have are programmed in us, like a lot of limiting beliefs that I can't stand. Save money here, don't spend. Having too much makes you greedy. I want to be safe. Like as if having a job is the safe route. How is having the job the safe route? Let me give you a really good analogy for this. I'm going to put you on a plane. But at any given moment, someone could tell you you have to get off the plane. And it could be in the air when it's happening. We may not have enough fuel to make it, so we got to get rid of some passengers. Wouldn't you rather be the person who makes that decision than the person who's at the cause? Well, imagine having a job in a recession. My friend works at Facebook. Welcome back. My friend works at Facebook. 2 departments, 25,000 employees in each department. 3 departments, actually. 50,000, fired. And you know how they did it? He said they did it with a coin toss. Coin toss. 33% chance that any department would have kept their job. He just happened to be on the good side of luck. So he works at Facebook for now. Until AI can replace his job. And what's Facebook's name? Meta. Metaverse. World outside this world, right? AI is going to help with that. Everything's going to help with that. Now, here's what I want you guys to do as an exercise. I want you to see where you're at. You know what your goal is now, correct? Because remember, everything's going to build off everything else now. Your routine, because you don't build a routine and then get the things you want and figure out what next steps are. No, you figure out what next steps are and then you build your routine. Each step has to, you have to always start with the end in mind. Most people start with the start, you start with the end. The most successful people start with the result. For example, I want to have a championship team. My goal is to be a champion. What does practice look like if I'm a champion? What kind of shape am I going to be in as a champion? You know, I was a championship athlete. I won championships in every sport I played. In basketball, volleyball, track, football. I was the best player on every team I fucking played. Now, in 8th grade, 9th grade, my athletic director goes and looks at me and says, you're not athletic. You're not going to be a good athlete. You don't have the genetics. I'm 6'2", okay? And I weigh 205 pounds, I'm pretty lean, you're telling me I don't have the genetics. My ass, I don't have the genetics. The guy's like 5'3" and he's fat, super fat, and he's telling me I don't have genetics, right? At 14. But I didn't believe him, I didn't care. And I said, fuck him, I'm just gonna become the best athlete. I ended up leaving that school, and he pulls me into his office and says, if you leave this school, you're never gonna make it onto the JV team on any sport, in any program of a real school. Well, I left, I went to a Division I school, it was a Division V school, went to a Division I program, made it on varsity on every fucking team I went to, and I won a championship the first semester I left. First semester I left, I won a championship, right? And here's the difference between both schools. I actually believe in Division V, on that team, we had more talent. We had more talent on our team, and we weren't champions. Then you come to this team, I'm looking at everyone, I'm like, no one here is a fucking athlete. No one here is in shape. What is this? But we had a better culture. We had better mentality. We were more hungry. We weren't intimidated by other teams. Other teams would see us and know they're going to lose. Before they even got on the court, they would know they were going to lose. When I played basketball and volleyball every time, and track, and I won city in almost all of them. So every time we got on the court or on the track, everyone else knew they would lose. Like they knew it. They knew they're not going to win no matter what. And they're not fighting for first place, they're fighting for second. That was the mentality they had. We knew we were going to win no matter what. Now, I bring this up to you because what is the routine of a championship team, of a championship athlete? So Kobe Bryant has a very famous interview where he talks about most people practice twice a day. I would sleep 4 hours a night, and I'd wake up at 4 a.m., I'd practice at 4, then I'd practice after breakfast, and then I'd practice again in the afternoon, right? He practiced 3 times a day. And he said, over time, that gap became huge. Now, if you're not an athlete or you're not like a crazy entrepreneur, let me explain to you why this happens. If you read a book, 2 people read a book at exactly the same pace, but one person reads for 3 hours a day and one reads for 2 hours a day. Over a year, how many more books or pages are you going to read? A lot more. Now, it's not just the knowledge, it's also the progress you make. the skills you make. All of that happens when you're doing more. The only way you could do more than everyone else isn't by sitting there practicing 3 times a day. It's about creating a championship routine. So who here likes eating a bunch of garbage? Like fast food, honestly. Who eats fast food all the time? Or like junk? Who's fat? Okay. Who here feels a lack of energy? Great. That's probably your diet. Who gets headaches or migraines? Nice and high. You don't drink enough. If you get headaches, you don't drink enough water. Over 90% of migraines disappear when you're hydrated. Now, you talk about energy. If you're dehydrated, 2%. 2%. Your brain will operate at 40% less efficient. So all of these things contribute to not being a champion. Health, environment, friends, all these things. Who has shitty friends around them or people they don't like around them? Someone said they have a really toxic relationship on here. Leave. Get them out of your life. Shouldn't be around you. And a lot of you are liars. I could see you guys nodding your head and not raising your hand. Like, what the fuck, you know? Oh, it's embarrassing. No, it's not. It's embarrassing. You don't raise your hand. You're probably the toxic one. You know? So, anyways, when we build a routine, I'd like you guys to think in terms of, I'm building a championship company, a championship team. Does your championship team slack? Are they lazy? Are they excited to show up every day? Are they proactive? Are they going above and beyond? They do shit that impresses you? You know, I asked my team, I'll share it, fuck it. So someone that's going to come here today is building a PowerPoint. And he's like, yeah, I delegated it to my team. I woke up this morning, I look, and it's shit, right? Now I did the same thing. I delegated the PowerPoint because I hate fucking PowerPoints. I'm like, hey, go watch the seminar and make a PowerPoint. And it was shit. So I had to sit down and I spent like 4 hours on this stupid fucking thing. And I found it to be the most unproductive. I'm like, you know, I could have this forever. But again, I can't even follow a PowerPoint. I hate it. There's like 7 slides I didn't even use yet. And I look at it and I say, well, did I build a championship PowerPoint team? Like, am I going to build a PowerPoint? No, because the championship team probably doesn't do that. But we'll do other cool things, like when I talk about me getting a concussion and the video pops up on the fucking screen, like that's a championship like team. That's pretty cool. So when you're building the routine, it starts with you. And I'll talk about leadership afterwards, because leadership is number one when it comes to making money. We're going to get into groups. You're going to be like, what are my next few steps? I got to start the company. I got to start the business. I got to quit my job. Whatever it is you got to do, do it. And be like, what does my routine look like? If you live with your parents, or you live with a roommate that you're not happy with, or you have a girlfriend or a husband that you're not proud of, you're not enjoying, you're settling, then your routine's got to change. Something has to change you. You can either fix it or you got to leave. But you cannot stay in this place where you feel kind of shitty, kind of good, you don't really know. Some people came to this event, they're like, finally I get to escape. No. You should be happy to go home. You should love it. Back to this example, we're going to get into an exercise now. We're going to have groups of 4 again. You're going to say, what's my next move? What are my next moves? And then you're going to translate it into your routine. Here's what I want you to do as a skeleton of your routine. What's my bedtime? What time do I wake up? That's the first part of the skeleton. The second part of the skeleton is, do I want to work 4 hours, go have fun for 3, work another 4? I don't care how you do it, but it's 8 hours of work, 8 hours of fun, 8 hours of sleep. You could decide that you want to do 10 hours of work, 6 hours of fun. Make sure you have fun in there, because if you don't include fun, you're not going to make money. No one makes money when they're not enjoying themselves. The richest people in the world are always in a good mood, they're always laughing, always having fun. At least when they're on the journey. Yeah. Then work more. But make sure that you have the option. If you want to go on a date, you have an option to go on a date. You want to go travel somewhere, you want to go drive go-karts today, you have the opportunity to do it. Like when I go buy a car, it takes me less than 8 hours to buy a car. That's fun to me. I'll go spend 8 hours at the dealership. Right? That's part of my routine. So no matter, even if I buy a car that day, I didn't fuck up my routine. And you have to, and then once you do that, this is something you guys could do at lunch, categorize what is work and what's not. For me, filming stories, filming videos, talking to my team, thinking about problems, reading a book. All these things are considered work for me. Even the gym is considered work for me. That's how I define it. Because I don't say, oh, I like the gym, but I don't go to the gym and go, oh yeah, this is me having fun. No, it's not my fun time. It's part of the work I have to put in. So I count that as part of the work hours that I do. And then fun is when I invite friends over and we're having a party. Fun is when I decide to go out to dinners and eat with everybody. You know, that's fun. Fun is going to a party. Fun is going on a drive in a car. Like, that's fun, not work. So I categorize what's fun and what's not, and then I'm just consistent. Yes? Up to you. You categorize however you want. If I'm eating and I'm in a meeting with someone for work, it's a work meeting. So it's part of my work hours. If I'm out and I have, like in your case, 8 models with you, does that work? Maybe, it could be work. Could be fun. You have to define it. You got to define it. But we'll define productivity and getting results later, help you with that. But we're going to start with the skeleton of this. I notice you haven't filled out an application yet to speak to me personally. If you're making 6 figures or more this year and you want to talk to me so I can help you crush your goals, go ahead and click the link in the description right now. Fill out the application. First come, first serve. I'm going to be taking calls myself all week. So fill out that application and I will talk to you there.